I'm being joined by the Associate Executive Director of the American Jewish Committee, Mr. Jason Issacson. Many thanks for joining us here on NewsX. A lot is happening between India and the United States of America. We saw a very good visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the United States of America, and now President Barack Obama will be visiting India. A very important invitation was extended, and he accepted it. How does that go when it comes to President Barack Obama coming? This is the first time a president is going to be the chief guest for a Republic Day function in India.
Well, it's very exciting, and it really is consistent with the growth in the relationship between India and the United States, which AJC has been proud to be associated with and help push along in concert with our Indian American countrymen. It's an exciting development. The fact that within 6 or 7 months there will be 2 such summit meetings in addition to the other meetings that took place at the G20 and elsewhere, it just shows how close the relationship ought to be, the synergies that are so obvious, the fact that there can be business done together, strategic partnerships, alliance on so many fronts. It's a wonderful development.
Jason, we saw a very important visit. It was a great meeting of minds and leaders when it comes to the United States of America and India. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to delivery, we are again looking at only 6 months, and within a matter of 6 months, we'll be seeing President Barack Obama coming again. So, what is really going to translate into action in these 6 months that we'll actually see on the ground happen between India and U.S.?
Well, that's, of course, the $64,000 question, as we say. I think that the fact that Prime Minister Modi has made such an important point of the fact that India is really open for business, the whole Make in India spirit that will infuse, I'm sure, this visit as well, will, I assume, lead to new business partnerships that will be announced. I believe that if it's like other visits that the President has made to other countries that are important to the United States, there will be businessmen and women who are coming along on such a mission. I think that there may be some various agreements that are reached, government to government. The fact that the kind of strategic dialogues that exist between India and the United States are obviously thickening. The fact that there's a new ambassador about to arrive in India in the coming weeks, a very exciting development as well, especially the fact that he comes from the Indian American community, which I think is just another benchmark on the road to further development in the relationship. I expect that there will be announcement of further joint projects, further co-production, further developments between the 2 countries.
We also know that you've been talking about joint cooperation. There's going to be a lot when it comes to the defense deals that both the countries are looking at, but more importantly, going back to what you're talking about, which is Make in India. Yeah. And when I was there in the United States of America, the biggest problem or hurdle in this Make in India dream that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has is that not many investors are enthused to come and invest in India. A lot of them talking about the hurdles, the red tapeism. Sure. Do you see that really now addressed, those issues, and do you see them really now looking at India as an investment opportunity and a space for them to really come and invest?
I mean, it's clearly an issue. It's clearly a challenge that India has to confront. Before coming to India this week, I was in the Gulf and ran into a number of people who are excited about the potential for foreign direct investment in India, see the market potential, which is vast, but are scared off by the hurdles, the regulatory challenges, the legal challenges, the lack of transparency in certain processes. That has to be addressed. Prime Minister Modi has been very clear that he wants to take this on as one of his first priorities, and he's already put in place some of the mechanisms to do so. I expect that we'll see even more of that in the coming months.
In terms of strategic cooperation, one important aspect is that of terrorism and how U.S. is dealing with it, how India has been dealing with it, and the most important or one of the biggest areas of worry for India has been Pakistan, and how US is now going to deal with it, given that there is going to be troop withdrawal, complete or partial, by the end of 2014 in Afghanistan. Any message from President Barack Obama or from the administration that there is going to be a more tough stand that will be taken with regards to Pakistan?
I don't know that I'm in a position to promise that. I know that the issue of Pakistan's threat to the region, the instability within Pakistan itself is very much on the minds of policymakers in Washington, very much on the minds of the think tank community in Washington, my organization and many others that keep a close eye on this and have been told over the years, frankly, going back 2 or 3 administrations, that of all the threats that are posed to international peace and stability, Pakistan is in the first rank. So it will clearly be on the agenda for the meetings that take place in India in the coming 2 months.
The recent Pentagon report also suggested, and there was an advice by Pentagon to the government that they should now start pressuring Pakistan in ensuring that the terror infrastructure is dismantled. We're not seeing that. On the contrary, what we're seeing is increase in attacks at the border, and also increase in the noise that Pakistan is making with regards to the issue of Kashmir. Do you think it is time that the United States of America reads Pakistan in what it's doing and tackles it accordingly?
Well, it's a complicated issue, as you know. I don't think that there's any lack of appreciation for the dangers that are posed by Pakistan, by the internal challenges that Pakistan poses, the fact that there's been such strong evidence over the year of real complicity, if not direction, on the part of very senior levels of that government for the terrorist activities that have taken place that have touched India in a very tragic way. The question is, how do you best address that? By calling them out, by putting overt pressure on them, or by trying to work with Pakistan behind the scenes, knowing that while you have to attack the terror that exists within the Pakistani system, do you do it around the government authorities, or do you do it underneath the government authorities? I mean, rather through the government authorities, or do you do it around the government authorities? And I think that's been the challenge that has been posed to the United States and to India over the years. But there's no question that there is increasing appreciation in Washington and around the world for the danger that this poses.
These are areas where both countries agree. There are areas that both countries don't agree on. And one such issue is the issue of Ukraine. India has been rather reticent in what Russia has been doing. The recent visit of the Russian president over here with the Crimean head has not gone down very well with the international community at all. Ukrainian ambassador and the Ukrainian government, also very concerned, have raised issues with the Indian government. Should the Indian government have handled it better and looked at the Crimean head coming to India as something that shouldn't have happened, and that the Russian president shouldn't have pushed India to a corner on this one?
Well, I mean, clearly the Russian president should not have pushed India into a corner on this one. Surely there's no place in an official entourage of the head of Crimea, now a part of Russia, having been stolen by Russia in an illegal act. I don't fault India for the dilemma that it found itself in. I think that it handled it. It wants to maintain some kind of a relationship with Russia. I can understand that. It also has many powers, many forces that it has to juggle. Other countries that are north and east of India that also Russia is a factor in dealing with those forces as well. Including its relationship with Pakistan, including its relationship with China. It's very understandable that India would want to maintain some kind of a solid relationship going forward with Russia. At the same time, Russia has been misbehaving terribly, has violated the sovereignty of Ukraine in an unacceptable way. Countries around the world that have the kind of principles that India has and projects need to find ways to signal that to the Russians.
Final question, Jason. This is again back to President Barack Obama's visit to India. We know a lot has happened between the two countries, but just ahead of his visit, what can one expect from President Barack Obama? Is there going to be something different this time around? Is there going to be a special message or a special deal that he'd be coming with? What can India really expect from President Barack Obama this time?
Well, I mean, I think just a further affirmation of the friendship, of the solidarity between the United States and India. Sister democracies that have a great deal in common. We also, of course, have 3 million plus Indians in the United States who are very much a part of the political and social and economic life of our country and are contributing in all possible sectors. I think that you will see some of them joining him on this mission as well, along with a great many business people. There is a great deal of promise in this relationship. I expect to see more of that promise fulfilled in January when the president is here, and in the coming months, further ways in which partnerships can be established and projected. What I would like not to see is shyness about the relationship, shyness about India's affection for the United States. And I'm seeing less of that. I think that shyness is falling away. These are two countries that have a great deal in common and a great future together.
On that note, May, thanks for speaking with us.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure, Jason.